I'm Marissa, 29, and I'll be honest, I'm not an urban explorer type. But my older cousin Eric, he's been sneaking into old places since high school. Last October, he talked me into joining him for one easy explore, an abandoned textile factory on the edge of town. He swore it was safe, just dusty and empty, and promised we'd be out before dark. I wish I'd said no. The place looked dead from the outside. Windows smashed, walls faded to a dull gray. A chain-link fence with a gaping hole in it was the only thing between us and the property. Inside, the air was stale with the smell of oil and mold. My sneakers crunched on glass. Eric kept saying, "See? Just like the YouTube videos. Harmless." We climbed to the second floor where huge windows lined the wall. Most of the panes were missing, leaving only jagged teeth of glass in the frames. We were walking past an old office when Eric froze. I followed his gaze. Across the room in the dim light, one of the intact windows had a smear on it. It wasn't paint. It looked like the drag of a dirty handprint, fresh. He whispered, "Someone's been here today." That's when we heard a sound, faint, like the scrape of a chair leg against the floor. Eric motioned for me to stay put and started toward the sound. My pulse spiked. I followed anyway. The noise came from a far corner where a door hung half open. It led to a stairwell heading down into the dark. From inside, a voice mumbled something too low to understand. Eric stopped, turned to me and mouthed, "Wait here." But before he could move, the door slammed shut, hard enough that dust puffed from the frame. I jumped back, nearly tripping over a rusted filing cabinet. A rat shot out from behind it, making my skin crawl. We stood frozen for a few seconds, then Eric tried the door, locked, from the inside. That's when I noticed movement. In one of the windows on the far wall, a shadow crossed quickly like someone walking past outside. But we were on the second floor. Eric swore under his breath and pulled me toward the stairs at the other end of the hall. We made it down to the ground floor, our footsteps echoing way too loud. Near the front entrance, we stopped. Outside, beyond the broken glass doors, a pickup truck was parked crooked against the curb. No plates. Engine idling. We didn't stick around to find out who it belonged to. Once we were back in Eric's car, we sat in silence until he started it up. He tried to laugh it off, saying the locked door was probably just warped, and the shadow in the window could have been a bird or something. Later that week, I read in the local paper that the building had been used recently by squatters, and that police had been called more than once about threatening behavior toward trespassers. I still don't know if the voices we heard came from squatters or someone protecting something in that factory. But I know this: if that truck outside was connected, they were watching us the whole time. I never thought a real estate side job would end up with me calling 911 from inside a collapsing building. But here we are. I'm 32 and I work part-time for a property photographer in Phoenix. Most of our shoots are model homes or empty apartments, but last November my boss sent me to Willow Heights, an abandoned condo complex built in the 80s and left unfinished after the developer went bankrupt. It had been fenced off for years, but now some investor had bought the property and wanted as-is photos before demolition. That was my job. Go in, shoot the lobby, the hallways, the rooftop pool, even though there hadn't been water in it since before I was born. Willow Heights sat at the end of a dead road off the highway, surrounded by scrub and chain-link fence. I had the key to the padlock on the gate, but when I got there, the gate was already hanging open. The buildings loomed like gray skeletons, their windows punched out, graffiti covering every flat surface. It was windy. One of those dry, restless Arizona winds that makes everything feel unsettled. I parked near the main building and stepped inside. The air was stale, mixed with the smell of dust and something faintly chemical. My boots echoed on cracked tile. First floor, lobby and mailroom. Second floor, long hallway lined with unfinished apartments. Third floor, rooftop access and the pool deck. I figured I'd work my way up. The first sign something was off came on the second floor. As I walked the hallway, I noticed one door was shut. All the others were either missing or hanging crooked on their hinges. This one, though, perfectly closed. I told myself it was just stuck that way. I was about to move on when I heard it. The faint sound of water dripping. The place hadn't had plumbing in decades. Curiosity won over common sense. I pulled the door open. Inside was a nearly empty room, except for a single blue tarp spread across the floor, sagging under the weight of something underneath. Drips fell steadily into a metal bowl beside it. I didn't touch the tarp. Instead, I took a quick photo for documentation. That's when I heard footsteps, heavy ones, somewhere above me. I froze. The building was supposed to be empty. I crept up to the third floor. The hallway here opened onto the rooftop deck. The pool was a gaping concrete pit, half filled with debris and broken glass. At first, I thought I was alone, until I saw a duffel bag sitting on the pool's edge. It was open. Inside, neatly coiled ropes, a crowbar, and what looked like industrial tape. My stomach sank. Whoever owned that bag wasn't here for nostalgia. I turned to leave and came face to face with a man in his late 40s, sunburned skin, shaved head, wearing a dirt-streaked t-shirt. He looked at me like he was trying to place me. Then, "You shouldn't be here." "I'm taking photos for the owner," I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. "I'm just leaving." He glanced toward the bag, then back at me. His voice dropped. "Did you touch anything?" Before I could answer, another voice called from somewhere inside the building. "Hey! Where'd you go?" The man's eyes darted toward the sound. "Get out!" he hissed. "Now!" I didn't wait. I went back down the stairs, but instead of the exit, I ended up in a service corridor I hadn't seen before. The wind howled through a gap in the wall, making the shadows flicker. That's when I heard the other man's footsteps pounding down from the rooftop. I ducked into an old maintenance closet. Through the crack in the door, I saw them. The shaved head man and another guy in a dark hoodie, carrying the tarp from the second floor between them. It sagged heavily. They set it down just inside the stairwell, speaking in low, urgent tones I couldn't make out over the wind. Then they carried it toward the back of the building. I stayed put until the sound of their boots faded. When I finally made it to the ground floor, I ran for my car. But the gate was now shut, the chain looped loosely, no lock in sight. I didn't bother with it. I climbed the fence, tearing my sleeve on the wire, and didn't stop until I was back at my car, tires spitting gravel. From the road, I called 911 and told them what I'd seen. The dispatcher's questions made it clear they were taking it seriously. I don't know what the police found. I didn't stick around for a callback. All I know is the image of that tarp sagging under its hidden weight has been burned into my brain. And sometimes I wonder if the man with the shaved head was warning me, or warning me off.